What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses walks onto a daytime talk show and everything goes completely sideways? When careful media training meets raw, unfiltered opinion, and when a simple promotional interview transforms into the kind of television moment that breaks the internet. We're about to dive into the explosive encounter between Anne Hathaway and Joy Behar that had producers scrambling, co-hosts speechless, and millions of viewers watching in absolute shock. Before we get into exactly what was said that caused such chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us what you think really happened here, because this story has layers you won't believe. The morning began like any other taping of The View. Anne Hathaway walked onto the stage in a tailored navy blazer, smiling confidently as the audience applauded. She waved politely, exchanged pleasantries with the panel, and settled into her chair. The purpose of her visit was straightforward: promote her new film, a serious drama centered on corporate whistleblowing and moral courage. Whoopi Goldberg opened the conversation with a thoughtful question about the emotional weight of the role, and responded with practiced ease, speaking passionately about telling stories that highlight everyday people who risk everything to expose wrongdoing. The audience nodded along, clearly engaged. For the first few minutes, everything unfolded exactly as expected. Sunny Hostin praised the film's relevance. Alyssa Farah Griffin commented on its timely themes, and spoke about her research process and the real-life figures who inspired her performance. It felt safe, polished, and familiar. Another successful celebrity interview in the making. Then Joy Behar leaned forward. Her tone shifted subtly, but noticeably. She referenced a recent magazine interview in which Anne had discussed wealth, privilege, and the responsibility of affluent individuals to address inequality. Joy framed her question carefully but sharply, asking whether Anne believed people in entertainment, people like them, were part of the problem. The room seemed to still. Anne's smile faltered for just a fraction of a second before she answered, choosing her words with care. She spoke about platforms, influence, and accountability, insisting these conversations were necessary, not accusatory. Joy wasn't satisfied. She pressed harder, questioning whether it was easy to advocate higher taxes after already becoming wealthy. The energy on set changed instantly. The casual warmth vanished, replaced by something heavier, and straightened in her chair, her voice firm but controlled, explaining that acknowledging systemic problems wasn't a personal attack. The audience fell quiet. In that silence, everyone could feel it. This was no longer a routine interview. Something had been unleashed, and there was no turning back. Joy leaned back, arms crossed, and challenged Anne more directly. She accused celebrities of lecturing the public while living insulated lives, pointing to private jets, gated communities, and what she called performative activism. Anne's jaw tightened. Her response was immediate and pointed, calling out what she described as a false equivalence. Advocating for policy change, she argued, wasn't negated by existing within the realities of wealth. It was pragmatism, not hypocrisy. The word hypocrisy lingered in the air as Joy repeated it, this time pairing it with virtue signaling. That phrase struck a nerve. Anne's composure shifted. Her voice sharpened. She challenged the accusation directly, saying that dismissing beliefs with buzzwords was a way to avoid engaging with facts. She listed her donations, her advocacy work, and her willingness to be taxed more, including herself. The audience reacted in murmurs, some applauding, others visibly uncomfortable. Joy fired back, questioning Anne's authority. Did she have an economics degree? Anne responded calmly, saying she relied on data from economists and policy experts, and asked a simple question: was Joy disputing the data, or just the conclusions? That question landed hard. Joy bristled, accusing Anne of living in a bubble and insulting working-class viewers, and countered, explaining that the policies she supported, healthcare, childcare, paid leave, were designed to benefit those very people and were funded primarily by higher earners. The tension was now undeniable. Whoopi attempted to steer the conversation back to the film, but the emotional undercurrent refused to fade, even as Anne answered questions about her director and the challenges of portraying moral conflict on screen. Her attention kept drifting back to Joy, who sat in silence, arms still crossed, sensing the unresolved conflict. Whoopi addressed it directly. asking whether common ground could be found, and acknowledged that while they disagreed on solutions, they likely shared a concern for people. Joy, however, took issue with Anne's earlier phrasing, accusing her of psychoanalyzing and dismissing her convictions, and paused, then did something unexpected. She apologized. She admitted her wording had been condescending and took responsibility for that moment. But she didn't back down entirely. She pointed out that Joy had questioned her sincerity from the start. Joy responded with decades of skepticism toward celebrity activism, citing examples of hypocrisy she had witnessed over her career, and listened, then insisted she was engaging honestly, not hiding behind talking points. The studio was silent, the tension thick enough to feel. This was no longer about a movie. It was about credibility, power, and who gets to speak for change. Joy pivoted sharply, bringing the conversation back to the film itself, but not as praise. She framed the movie as a product, something designed to generate profit, questioning whether Anne's advocacy was inseparable from selling a brand. Anne's restraint finally cracked. Her voice rose as she pointed out the contradiction. The View also made money, and yet no one suggested the host's opinions were invalid because of it. Joy dismissed the comparison, emphasizing her role as a political commentator and reducing Anne's profession to playing pretend. The insult hit hard. The other co-hosts froze, visibly shaken, and repeated the phrase slowly, disbelief and anger mixing in her voice. She defended storytelling as meaningful work that shaped perspectives and sparked empathy. Then she delivered a line that electrified the room, telling Joy she genuinely felt sorry for her if she believed acting was less valuable than commentary. Joy stood up, furious, listing her decades of activism and questioning what Anne had done beyond acting and collecting awards, and stood as well, gripping the table, her voice steady but intense. She detailed her advocacy efforts, her funding of organizations, her testimony, and accused Joy of acting as though longevity granted moral monopoly. Whoopi intervened forcefully, demanding they stop, but neither woman sat down. Joy accused Anne of naivety and privilege, claiming she had forgotten what real struggle looked like, and fired back, insisting that personal history didn't determine whether an idea was right or wrong. Ideas, she argued, stood on evidence, not biography. The exchange escalated rapidly. Joy mocked Anne's tone as academic and out of touch, and asked what sacrifice would be enough, giving everything away, quitting her career, apologizing for success. Joy replied that Anne's positions were convenient, emotionally rewarding without real cost, and denied it, her voice breaking as she insisted her beliefs were genuine. Producers hovered at the edges of the stage, whispering urgently into headsets. The audience buzzed with divided reactions, applause, gasps, stunned silence. When Joy pointed at and demanded action instead of words, and quietly removed her microphone, her response was controlled but seething, accusing Joy of prejudice and bad faith listening. Tears filled her eyes as she called out the shifting accusations and questioned what Joy actually wanted from her. By now, the confrontation had fully eclipsed the show's format. This wasn't debate, it was raw, personal, and unraveling in real time. And the breaking point was just seconds away. Joy doubled down, accusing and of lecturing America from a place of privilege, even criticizing her appearance as symbolic of inequality, and shot back, pointing out the absurdity. Everyone at the table wore designer clothes. The argument had lost all subtlety. Joy stepped forward, accusing and of blind spots and mistaking intentions for results. Whoopi physically moved between them, demanding they stop. Joy insisted the cameras were rolling and that the confrontation needed to happen. She vented her frustration with celebrity culture, performative activism, and what she saw as shallow engagement crowding out lifelong activists, and responded shakily but firmly, saying she never claimed expertise, only care and effort. If that wasn't enough, she said, nothing would be. The audience was now openly reacting, split between applause for each woman. Sunny pleaded for calm, but Anne refused to retreat, stating she had been attacked, not challenged. Joy dismissed that claim, saying disagreement was part of public discourse, and fired back, accusing Joy of hostility, questioning her motives, intelligence, and character from the start. Joy claimed she had earned her perspective through decades of work, and, visibly exhausted, reached for her purse. She said she had come in good faith and would not remain to be insulted on national television. As she walked away, Joy taunted her, calling it running away, and turned back, tears streaming, and said she was choosing not to engage with someone unwilling to listen. The cameras cut to commercial shortly after, but the damage was irreversible. Clips spread online within minutes. Headlines exploded. Viewers debated who crossed the line, who was right, and whether the confrontation revealed uncomfortable truths about celebrity activism and media power. What lingered wasn't just the shouting, it was the rawness. Two women who believed they were fighting for the same ideals, colliding so violently that the entire facade of daytime television cracked. No resolution came that day, only questions. And long after the episode ended, audiences were still arguing about it, replaying every word, every pause, every glance, trying to decide whether they had witnessed honesty, hypocrisy, or something far more complicated.